So, I wanted to touch bases with you guys about this coronavirus that's been going around, spreading like wildfire. I also want to share with you guys a couple clips and videos and things that I've been experiencing as well. Now, the city that I reside in, my governor just released a statement on a community local page. The statement noted, today the flight carrying embassy workers from China, epicenter of the coronavirus, will be landing at March Air Reserve Base with the county hospital as the agency to treat the quarantine. If anyone is sick, like many of you, I don't know why the federal government diverted the flight.
A plane carrying more than 200 Americans out of China just landed at an Air Force base in California. The passengers are mostly staff from the U.S. consulate in Wuhan, as well as a handful of other Americans. It was chartered by the U.S. government. It made a stop in Alaska for refueling, where passengers were screened for any signs of illness. Freelance reporter Danielle Robertson is at that March Air Reserve Base in Southern California. So what was the scene when that plane landed, Danielle?
Yeah, this plane did land about 1 hour ago, and the passengers are still on board this plane. They have not left yet, and they were greeted by 3 police cars, 3 buses in on this passenger plane, and right now they're just working on taking out the luggage from that plane. As you can imagine, this is going to be a very slow and meticulous process. They don't want to rush this procedure. Of course, any one of these 201 passengers aboard this aircraft could have contracted this deadly coronavirus, as they have all arrived from Wuhan, the epicenter of where this virus began. They have laid out a white tarp on the concrete, laying out the area that the passengers will walk on once they step off that plane, and it is expected they are going to be loaded into 3 buses and taken to another area of this military airbase where they will be quarantined. Of course, this is just the beginning of a long journey.
Now, not only am I a citizen of Moreno Valley, I work at the hospital where these patients will be treated if they become infected by the virus. The governor doesn't even know why the plane got diverted to Moreno Valley in the first place. We can only speculate at the moment. And it will possibly take days, if not weeks, to know if anyone contracted the virus, because the virus is undetected for days. Listen to this doctor. He's explaining a little bit more about the virus.
In the news, you have been either underinformed or in many cases misinformed about what this virus really is. It's a very serious thing. Now, before I go on, just so you know, I have my PhD from Duke University. It's from the Department of Pathology. My specialty was toxicology. So I've studied all of these things. No, I'm not a practicing doctor right now, but yes, I do understand how these things work. This is a really fast-breaking development. We only first found out about this particular strain of this coronavirus. And let me break that word down for you. Corona, it means crown. And the reason they call it that is if you looked at one of these virus particles under an electron microscope, it kind of looks, it's all spiky, so it looks like it's wearing a crown. That's the coronavirus. And this one's particularly dangerous because it's only been a month since it's been on our radar screen. It was about mid-December when China first noticed this coronavirus, very quiet about it. It wasn't until the 31st of December before an official notification went out to the World Health Organization. And gosh, already we're seeing 40 million people now quarantined in their cities in China. It's a really serious thing. Now, why? Already done the DNA sequencing on it and discovered this is a bat virus that went through a snake, picks up some snake virus bits, and now it's crossed into humans. That makes it especially dangerous for a pandemic. Then you need 2 other factors in there. One is called the transmissivity. It's a R0 or an R0. It's asking the question, how easy does this jump between people? So if I had it and I walked into a room of 10 people, how many people on average would get that? If you have an R0 greater than 1, meaning I have a chance on average of walking into a room full of 10 and 1 other person catches it, that's enough to sustain transmission. An R0 of less than 1, this thing will die out on its own over time. But anything over 1 is a concern. It's thought that this has an R0 of somewhere between 1.5 and 2.4. So this really has a chance to spread and spread pretty strongly. The second big thing we need to know is that this is pretty lethal. The people who've described what is happening, a healthy 23-year-old read this full account about what his experience was, just got laid low. Like imagine the worst flu you've had times 2. Really touch and go with strong medical support. This person pulled through, But we're finding that people who are a little bit older and the very young, of course, as usual, are prone to really having catastrophic
The virus,
outcomes.
which has killed 25 people in China, could have spread to humans from bat soup, it's been claimed. Bat soup is reported to be an unusual but popular dish, particularly in Wuhan, where the virus is understood to have originated at an open-air fish market. The outbreak of coronavirus began in the city of Wuhan, which has since been put in lockdown after more than 600 people were infected globally. Recently, photos of Wuhan locals eating bat soup have surfaced, causing some to believe that this was the cause of the new coronavirus outbreak. Bats, like many wild animals, could potentially host bacteria and viruses. In addition, the virus was first detected in a food market in Wuhan. Experts published a paper to the China Science Bulletin that suggested bats could host the virus. However, this was all still under speculation. It's not clear yet how the virus was spread to humans, but scientists believes there was an unknown intermediate. This caused some to speculate that the bat soup might have been the missing link. Footage of Wuhan resident eating bat soup went viral on social media earlier this week. In the video, you could see a girl eating a black bat with a pair of chopsticks. As per the article, scientists released a statement released to the South China Morning Post that said the Wuhan coronavirus natural host could be bats, but between bats and humans, there may be an unknown intermediate. The virus outbreak in China had caused the government to order Wuhan to shut down all outbound public transportation in Wuhan. In addition, residents were urged not to leave the city unless absolutely necessary.
So the government is saying that this deadly disease came from a bat eating a snake? Or is it the other way around? Now, me personally, the only mammal I digest is a pig. I don't care how you cleaned it, how long you cooked it, anything that carries deadly diseases, I would not be biting into. Now we have a deadly disease floating around us, all because somebody wants to go viral and eat a bat. I would not be eating no cow tongue, no horse penises. Thank you, but no thank you. And again, this is only what the government has been telling us. Why did the government wait so long to give this to the public? The day that the government shared the news with the local citizens of Moreno Valley, they landed less than 24 hours later. This is something that should be taken very seriously. This is why I decided to share this on my channel. And those of you who know you have a low immune system, try to avoid hospitals, try to avoid public places, and if you must go out, please wear a face mask. Protect yourself.